Calling this meeting of the West Branch Planning and Zoning Commission to order. We're meeting by Zoom. Several of us are in the meeting room, but most folks are distancing themselves properly and staying at home. So the first item is a call to order. So if Leslie, you could read the roll call.
Chairperson Fuller,
Here.
Commission Member Bowers,
Here.
Benskoy,
Here.
Walsh,
Here.
Heck, here, Bauer.
Here.
Thank you. We have a proposed agenda before us, and I would appreciate a roll call on approval of that agenda. All those in favor of approval, please indicate. Leslie, call the roll.
Fuller,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Benskoy,
Yes.
Heck. Yes. Walsh,
Yes.
So the first item on that agenda is our minutes from March 24th meeting. And I trust everyone's had a chance to read those minutes and see if there are any corrections or additions or changes in those minutes. Are there any? Hearing none, I'll have another roll call on approval of the minutes. Leslie?
Fuller,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Benskoy,
Yes.
Heck. Yes. Walsh,
Yes.
Okay, the next item. We get
You
everyone?
keep forgetting Brad. Yeah.
Bauer.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had a little mix up there.
Okay. Well, we've approved the minutes, and the next item is to look at the Parkside Hills preliminary plat and see if we can approve that with the changes that were made. And we all have a list of those changes. We can all read them. Elm Street was extended to be 31 feet wide. The landscape easement was added between the commercial and residential uses. The sidewalk was moved 3.5 feet inside the right-of-way line. Grading of the basin was redesigned to install a flat bench at the water surface. Elm Street was revised to end after the private drive, but short of the property line. So are there any comments, questions, or issues about any of those changes that were made on the preliminary plat?
John, if I may ask
Yes,
one
right.
question. Was there any resolution to the turn lane issue that was discussed in the last meeting?
That was not given to us in the list of changes, was certainly discussed at the time. Roger, did you have any comments?
The latest insight is it will probably need to be done in the far future at complete build out. We would like to, the city is leaning toward waiving that requirement for now, for the immediate future, until it's 100% build out. The Iowa DOT study says it will probably, there needs to be a turn lane for the latest study. I guess we would like to get it in the developer's agreement at some point of some sort of cost share with that turn lane with the city and the developer, but just not right now.
Will the IDOT sign off on that?
Say that again.
Will the IDOT sign off on that? Chad or Roger, whoever knows at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hey, Ron.
for the most part.
I comment on that. I had asked the DOT that question, that would they sign off if the turn lane was not built? They replied back with an email today talking about making sure that the additional traffic from changing this entrance from the entrance to the gas station to the entrance to the subdivision did not affect the terminals of the on and off ramps of Interstate 80. I looked back at the email that the traffic engineer had put together, and that was one of the questions they had, was just making sure that this subdivision does not impact their on and off ramp. And then there was a email that I forwarded today from Jerry, the traffic engineer at IIW, where she talks about that the capacity of Parkside Drive with the 2-lane highway, right now it's about 11% of the total capacity of traffic that it could handle. With the addition of the subdivision, it would increase it to 16% of the total capacity. So it really seems to me like the increase in traffic from this subdivision is not going to affect the turn lanes, or not going to affect the on and off ramp of the interstate. The DOT has asked for some additional analysis to be done for that, and I think that they would like that before they completely sign off on everything. But it did seem like by the email that she had sent to Roger and Ronald Jones, that she is willing to let things start with the understanding, if there is a need, that it's not the DOT's responsibility.
So when the DOT says if it doesn't impact on and off ramps, like, I get all that, but what's their rubric? Do you have to have something like, is it just the additional study that they're asking for, or who makes that determination?
It
Or
would be
how
the
is it-
additional traffic study that they're
Okay.
asking for would
Okay.
determine that.
And our point is sitting back here looking at this, and I understand where the DOT is at and what they're doing. But when we have a traffic engineer that tells us we're only using, or we're only going to increase 5%
Right.
of capacity, I mean, and we're at 16%, we're so far below capacity. So I was even questioning why we're doing another traffic study. I was confused because I was like, okay, if we have a traffic engineer telling us we're not even close to being capacity for that road, you know, we're adding 5%. Why do I need to go out and spend another, you know, $8,000 or $10,000, $15,000? Well, who knows? It probably somewhere between 10 and 15,000 to figure out that we're using, you know, and the only way that the capacity of that area would increase over time is the growth of the city in general, and where the traffic and where the future growth of the city would be, and would they be exiting that direction, or, you know, as the city is growing to the west, for example, are they coming to that intersection to go out of town, or are they going out the other direction to go out of town? So those are big questions that are up in the air, but at the end of the day, we're not impacting that intersection hardly at all for capacity. So there's still, you know, 84% capacity left on that roadway.
I would be just as frustrated as you. Like, that's, you'd think they'd have some sort of measurement where, but
Yeah, and understand what she's trying to do right now is protect the fact that you as a city wouldn't go back to them if something crazy happened. All of a sudden, boom, it went to 100% capacity, which I don't know how that would happen, but you know, that the city doesn't go back to the DOT and say, hey, you guys got to pay for a turn lane now.
right.
And so that's really the thing. And that's the whole thing with any of the turn lanes in that area around that intersection is, if we're not increasing traffic again, why would we? I don't know. I am pretty frustrated because they're holding all of us up and they're being very vague about what they're doing, and they're not talking to each other very well right now. Ron and I talked about this earlier today. We've been working through this process for months and months and months. I mean, I can't even, Ron, was our first meeting with them was last year, late summer, I think.
Yeah, it was in the fall, or early fall, late summer.
Yeah. And so we have done and gone above and beyond, and we're working with them hardcore. We're real close to having decision and a grading plan done for the whole thing. We've worked through all that. And then this pops up. And Ron had a good point today. He's like, well, it was at one set of people with the DOT and they said, okay, this looks okay. But then all of a sudden they sent it off to somebody else and now they're raising the question. I'm like, well, why do we need 2 full traffic studies for the same intersection? If we were at, say, I don't know, 85% capacity, then I could see justifying, okay, let's look into it a little deeper. Let's figure it out a little more because we're getting close to capacity. But here, we're just not even close. So.
Agreed.
Okay, well, let me see if I can summarize what I've heard so far. And it is that the DOT has decided that there will not be an impact on the intersection with the interstate. They would like to do additional study. I would assume that the study has not to do with the capacity of the road, but more has to do with the sight distances and safety impacts of turning movements into and out of that new development. But at any rate, the mayor has told us that as far as he is concerned, any need for a turn element can be dealt with in the developer's agreement and should not hold us up in terms of the approval of the preliminary plan. Is that reasonably accurate? If so, what about the other points that have been dealt with and have responses on? Any comments? Staff comments?
Nothing.
Mayor's comments?
No, let's make it happen.
All right. All right, that's fine. And we don't have anyone in the public, in the audience. I would assume they would have been on electronically if there's anyone. So I think we can move at this point then to action. And so I'll accept a proposal. Who would like to move acceptance or not acceptance of the preliminary plan as amended? Do I have a motion?
I motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second.
Brad seconds. Okay, very good. Leslie, if you'll, the motion is to approve the preliminary plat as amended. Just as an aside, the developer's agreement will take up further the question of the turn lane. And so Leslie should call the roll.
Walsh,
Yes.
Bauer. Bauer,
Yes.
Fuller,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Vanskoy.
Yes.
Heck. Yes.
Very good. It's been approved and passed on to the City Council. The next item on the agenda is the Parkside Hills preliminary plat. This is for the clubhouse at Cedars Edge. Right, I'm sorry, excuse me. Next one is item B, which is the Cedar Edge Golf Course clubhouse site plan, and whether we can move approval of that or not. Terry, did you have some comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the site plan, a couple things that I noted was number H, fire department connection. It's my understanding the building's not being sprinkled, so we probably need to take that off the site plan.
Terry, it's now going to be sprinkled.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. When I had the plans reviewed by the architect, he convinced me that the best way would be to sprinkle it.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going that way now. And
Okay.
talking to the biggest issue I had with the sprinkling was the water pressure out there, and talking with the Public Works about it, it sounds like we're going to be possibly we won't have to have a booster pump to get us enough pressure. So that makes the cost of that sprinkler system a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that'll clean a lot of separation issues up for you too.
Yeah. Yep.
The other thing, couple things that I was looking at is what is the slope from the accessible parking spaces to the front door? Is there much of a drop there, Barry?
It's a rise of 4%.
So you're right at your 4%, so that's what, 1 in 12? No,
No, 24.
1 in 24.
25.
Yeah, okay.
1
So
in 25.
I just wanted to bring that up because, you know, if it's less than or greater than 1 in 20, then you got to get into the handrails and so forth.
Yeah, we actually moved the building back 18 feet from what they originally had it set at, just so we could make sure we could stay within that percentage.
Okay. And I think the only other thing I had, Jerry, was the cart space in area D down there. It looks like a parking lot down there, but that's just for carts.
Yeah, yep, that's just, we normally have 10 carts that we rent out to golfers, and that's the parking for them.
Now, is there going to be bollards up there at the entrance to that cart drive?
Yes,
To allow
Yep.
vehicles to go down in there?
yep,
Okay.
there will be. Yeah, I don't want any cars down there.
No. I think the only other thing I had was it'd be nice if Michael would go ahead and sign the plans. If he drew them. He forgot to sign them. Your architect?
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
Yep.
You're talking about the actual clubhouse plans,
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about this,
site plan?
yeah, the site plan, the cover sheet. He's pages and sheets covered by this seal. It says all. He put his stamp on there, but he didn't sign it. They should be signed.
Okay. I'll get that done.
So that's all I have.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think it looks good.
Thank you, Terry. How about commission members? Comments? on the Site plan? Don't hear any.
I do have one, John. I'm just curious, is this going to be planned to be built this year, or what's the schedule?
Yep. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. And that's the plan. Is we're hoping to.
That's early this year.
I'm still working with Terry on some the building itself, but the plans are to get started here shortly.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, any comments on it?
No, get it done.
Get it done.
Support.
Okay. Well, if we have no more comments or suggestions for change, then we will have a roll call vote on approval. But first, I need a motion to approve.
A motion to approve.
You have that motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
Sally,
Second.
Okay, very good. Leslie, call the roll.
Walsh,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Van Scoy,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Yep. E.
Fuller, sorry.
One more yes. Okay, well, that means that this is going to be passed on then to the council with our recommendation for approval. The next item is old business. We have any old business? I do have one piece of old business, and with the mayor here, I'd mention it, and that is that our comprehensive plan apparently has passed staff approval. And so we'd be interested in having it before the city council as soon as possible.
The whole thing,
The whole darn thing, yes.
they're gonna need some time to read it.
Well, they've had some time to read it.
All right, we'll get it out.
Yeah, because, you know, the ordinance has to be passed and that has to be in the front part.
For a public hearing.
Yeah, all those kinds of things. And I'm going to be losing my students who can type nicely and all that sort of thing before too much longer. So
Okay.
okay.
Get it out.
End of April, very latest. Okay.
It'll happen.
Staff reports. Do we have any?
I just have one. I did receive a application for another member.
Oh,
It is a male though, so we would be a little bit out of gender balance. But I'll forward the information out. It's a separate email this week, and you can take a look at it, and we'll just plan on, if you're okay, we'll approve him at the next meeting, and then we'll go to the council following meeting.
Okay. Good to know that there are applicants, people willing to do it.
I usually send it out, the application out to them first, so they
You
can see
guys.
who it is. Yeah, to these guys.
Okay, sounds good. Comments from any of us?
I don't really need to approve it.
Speak now. I will have one comment, and that is that I assume that the DOT is not proceeding immediately with our applications for electric vehicle charging stations. Have you heard anything from them?
I've been looking, I haven't heard a thing. No.
Okay. Well, I assume it's going to take a little while. Meanwhile, we don't have too many vehicles in operation, so I'm sure we can wait. Okay, our next meeting is going to be May 26th. And so we can stick that on our calendars, and we can do that by Zoom, I assume. I don't think we're going to be back in operation May 26th. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting. Sally moves. Second? I'll second. All those in favor by voice vote? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.